A wise man once said, "The true stature of a man can be measured in the eyes of others."
Excuse me, sir. You listen to the Casey Piotrowski show every night, don't you, sir?
No.
You tune him in at least then a couple of times a week, so you can hear what he's
No,
doing.
I don't.
No. Well, then you can get him in when you're tuning around the dial to see him.
No, I never listen to him.
Well, then you have heard of Casey Piotrowski because he's pretty a name and famous.
No, I've never heard of the man. I don't know him. I don't care who he is. I never want to meet the man.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it a lot that you said.
Excuse me, sir. We're taking an independent survey. You listen to the Casey Piotrowski show, don't you?
You gotta be kidding.
Thank you also for you and what that was meant to be over there.
Hello, ma'am. We're taking an independent survey. You listen to the Casey Piotrowski show, don't you?
Who?
Casey Piotrowski.
Who?
Casey Piotrowski.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Casey Piotrowski, very famous disc jockey in town. He's one of America's 5,823 truly great nighttime disc jockeys.
I don't know him.
It's Casey-Piotrow.
That wise man obviously heard Casey Piotrowski an awful lot of times. This is the story of Casey Piotrowski, Piotrowski, one of America's 5,823 truly great nighttime disc jockeys. A man who poured every bit of his talent into his career and still expected to be a success.
I was reading in the newspaper where Martha Mitchell has blamed the White House as the principal cause for the breakup of her marriage. Now that really surprises me because John Mitchell really doesn't seem to be the president's type. This is Casey Piotrowski in your radio. I don't usually talk about my personal life on the radio, but a very traumatic experience has just happened in my family. It seems my sister flew out to Hollywood to try to be a contestant on Let's Make a Deal, and she disguised herself as a postage stamp, and while she was waiting in line, she was jumped and gang-licked. WSAI, Casey Piotrowski, the All-American boy in your radio. Until midnight tonight. In 1955, there were a few things a fashionable girls' school didn't teach. Yeah, like why it isn't smart to make a habit out of hopping picket fences. I could think of a few other things too, but they're probably not in the movie. After all, it's rated PG. Movie is our time. We got tickets, 2 of them, for a special preview screening at the Showcase Cinemas next week, Saturday at 11 o'clock, and they'll be yours. If you call her 4 now at 749-5480. Caller 4 has them from WSAI and Band on the Run. Paul McCartney and Wings on the Casey Piotrowski show. I was reading Dear Abby's column in there the other day, and she had a letter about wife swapping. Isn't that disgusting, wife swapping? I know in my family's case, my father would never swap my mother. For him, it was strictly cash on the line.
Okay, America, here's the one you've been waiting for.
Casey Piotrowski, WSAI.
I really feel sorry for my little cousin Ernie. Yeah, he was at the A&P the other day, and he got thrown out of the store when they caught him wee-ooing by the canned meat section.
Hello, is there someone out there to introduce me, please?
Hello, Mr. Query.
Yes.
Mr. Query, how are you?
Oh, fine, buddy, fine. What are you doing tonight?
Well, as soon as the game got through over at Reading High School, I took my Bell Jet helicopter up to the Playboy Club Hotel in Lake Geneva, and Hugh and I are just sitting around here talking about Barbie.
Buddy?
Yes.
That just goes to prove that old saying.
What's the old saying?
Give a man enough rope and he'll fill his own crock.
Mr. Query.
Yes, buddy.
Since we're in the beautiful surroundings of the Playboy Club Hotel, I figure we might as well do a little how shall we say this with taste? A little sex joke.
Oh, you're kidding.
Well, we have an answer here for you, and I'm sure in all your infinite wisdom you'll come up with the appropriately distasteful question. All righty?
I'm filled with titillation, so to speak, of course.
All righty, now we'll open the envelope.
Okay.
Does that sound like an envelope opening?
Sounds more like you're ripping your sofa apart.
Okay. Are you ready for the answer, Mr. Queer?
Uh-huh.
The happy hooker.
The happy hooker.
The happy hooker.
What do you call someone who enjoys hooking rugs?
WSAI.
WSAI, and those falsetto hits just keep on coming. Boy, till I was about 18, I thought falsettos were something that Italian strippers wore. WSAI, Casey Piotrowski in your radio until midnight. You know, I'm always talking about my dog, Charlie. I got a letter here from my mom that mentions him, and I really don't understand it. You know, she talks about how things are back home, and she says down here, and I hope Charlie likes his job at the newspaper. I don't understand that at all. I know what she's talking about. I was talking to her on the phone the other night, and she asked me what Charlie was doing, and I told her he was working on the newspaper.
Yucky.
Today's Army can take you a long way.
Now, the latest thing going around is that businessmen are thinking about going to Alaska to study the possibilities of the reindeer industry. Now, that's absurd for a lot of reasons. Like, who's ever going to teach one of those things how to punch a time clock? WSAI. It's Olivia Newton-John on the Casey Piotrowski Show. You know, we always like to keep you on top of what's going to be happening on TV, so let's check a preview here. Oh, here we go. Next week on Ironsides decides to stay in the office and have friend give him a lube job. 9 years ago for that. Can you believe it, huh? I was reading in the newspaper about a guy who's like 84 years old, used to be the chairman of the Democratic Party in the state of Washington, and he has just gotten remarried to a lady that's 78. Isn't that something really nice? It's just one difference between this marriage for him and his last one. This time he's the one that's crying on the honeymoon.
To Casey Piotrowski, broadcasting is a continuing experience of increasing knowledge, and through his years in it, he has picked up many things. Luckily, penicillin has taken care of most of them. But upon meeting Piotrowski, the things you notice first: his weak mind, his inability to put a coherent sentence together, a rather shifty air about him, makes you wonder how he got into jockeying at all, and not into broadcast management.
Doctor! I have this terrible problem of not being able to remember anything, and it's really bothering me. Oh, really? How long has this been going on? How long has what been going on? And on that note, we begin yet another Casey Piotrowski Show on your radio from WSAI. Did you read about Jim Catfish Hunter of the Yankees? He's a pitcher, and he just signed to play with the Yankees, and he's getting something like $3.75 million to play, like, for the next 5 years. That may seem like an awful lot of money, but I figured it out. It's not really all that much. It comes down to like 60 cents for every strike that he pitched over the last season, but like $1.20 for every ball he threw last season, which just goes to prove that if you want to make a lot of money in baseball, it doesn't take a lot of strikes, but it sure does take a lot of nerve. WSAI, that's one-man woman, two-timing man. I hate to admit this, but I myself, I'm a two-timing man. And on good nights, 3 times. Let's see. Jewish Family Services presents Changing Sexual Patterns. Brings on all kinds of weird images of naked people and sewing machines. I don't know. Anyway, that's next Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Center. That's at 1580 Summit in Roselawn.
Join the people who have joined the Army.
Wait half a second. What makes you think I even want to mess around with Jim? Beverly, maybe. Louise, pretty sure, but Jim, no way, man. WSAI. And as the chairman of the board of PNS Broadcasting said to WSAI's former general manager, hit the road, Jack. You dummy! WSAI and the very polite Casey Piotrowski radio program. What's really strange about Rosemary Woods, I think President Nixon should have suspected something when she first filled out her application. There was a space on there saying, well, do you have any strange nicknames? And he should have suspected something when she said, yeah, a lot of my friends call me Buzz. Time is here! I was 11 then, and I didn't even know what payola meant. WSAI, Casey Piotrowski with Maria. Yeah. I was reading in Variety magazine this week. They have an article about international radio and television, and everybody has always thought that the TV in the Soviet Union was a great deal different than TV here, but it's not really. It's very much the same, only there the news is called Truth or Consequences. WSAI's Casey Piotrowski, the All-American Boy, radio boy. Some people are into some really weird things. I gave my friend a call the other night on the telephone, and he picked up the phone, and there's all kinds of background noise and stuff like this. I said, hey, what's going on there anyway? He goes, well, let's see, right now it's 3rd down and 10 to go. And I said, oh, you're at a football game. And he goes, no, an orgy. WSAI, hey, man, this is Disco. Casey, hey, man, do you want to rock? Yeah! Yeah! Do you want to dance? Yeah! Yeah! Do you want a boogie? Yeah! Yeah! Do you want to stay after the show and do my laundry? No! WSAI, Casey Piotrowski with Paul McCartney and Wings there. I understand Mean Mary Jane, you know, from the car commercial fame on TV. I understand that she just recently went into the hospital for some surgery. Nothing serious. I just heard she went in to have a couple of flats fixed.
Casey Piotrowski.
WSAI, Casey Piotrowski Show on your radio until midnight. I was just reading something in the newspaper tonight about military wives. I read military wives get all kinds of surgery free, including silicone treatments. They get silicone treatments free. I wonder if that's what they mean by the term military buildup.
Agent Piotrowski, WSAI.
WSAI, is it stuff there from Cher Bono? Please, share your Bono with me. It's been a long time between Bonos for Casey Piotrowski, the all-American kid in your radio until midnight tonight in WSAI. We always like to take a look at what'll be happening on TV in the next couple of weeks. Let's see here. Next week on The Rookies. One of the rookies is sent to arrest a beautiful young shoplifter, and it's love at first frisk.
Never know until you try.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Query.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's my pleasure to be back here on the show again. How are you?
Always a pleasure to have you, Mr. Query.
Didn't mean to tippy-toe on your words there.
What are you up to this morning, Mr. Query?
I'm up to 142 pounds.
And about 5'6". That's
right, I've got to quit eating those potatoes.
Well, on
so
with
to
the
speak, of course.
Showbiz.
Okay. I have the pink envelope here. I will open it up.
No, it's Mr. Query. It is the pink envelope.
The pink envelope.
Well, right there in front of you.
I'll open up the envelope
now. The lovely
now.
little girl there. Look at her tail that she has. That's another story, friends.
We won't go into that anymore.
The pink envelope or the pink
envelope.
Right.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay.
You're very welcome, Bob.
Right.
Would you read the answer to me and I will give the question, please?
Trying to get it up.
Trying to get it up.
Trying to get it up.
What are the oil companies trying to do to the price of gas? Fooled you, didn't we?
No, not really.
Oh.
What makes someone like Casey Piotrowski become who he is, where he is? The right place, the right time, political connections? Well, a lot of guys would pay lip service to their program directors, but Casey doesn't swing that way. In fact, he has a hard enough time finding girls. But whatever the reason, Piotrowski has arrived, and important people in important places are taking notice. Listen to this unsolicited Piotrowski testimonial from Washington, D.C., and Presidential Affairs Secretary Rosemary Woods.
Hi there, this is Presidential Affairs Secretary Rosemary Wood. I think that Casey Piotrowski is the world's greatest unknown radio superstar. I've never heard a better disc jockey than him in my whole life. If I ever stop listening to radio, I know that I'll certainly miss the tone of Casey Piotrowski. He's pretty good.
We were alone together at the drive-in. We were sitting in the front seat. We'd been sitting in the back seat, but there weren't room enough for the three of us. You and me and Geno's. WSAI, this is Casey Piotrowski. And now here's a record that needs no introduction. This is Terry Jackson, Seasons in the Sun.
Goodbye to you.
Under the boardwalk.
WSAI, Casey Piotrowski in your radio here. I understand that it was former President Nixon's birthday a few weeks ago, and it's good to see that a lot of people in Washington aren't holding grudges. I understand that a lot of the people he used to work with in Congress chipped in and they bought him a birthday gift. I don't know what it was exactly, but I understand it was delivered by the Tidy Bowl Man.
Casey Piotrowski, Casey Piotrowski, Casey Piotrowski, Casey Piotrowski.
With yet another scandal from the world of beauty pageants. It seems that Miss Chicken Gravy of 1975 has been stripped of her title when it was found out that the night before the pageant, she had all the judges up in the room and she showed them all her giblets.
Remember the great announcers.
Sergeant Preston Casey Piotrowski.
To avoid fainting, keep repeating.
The second shocker is the last house on the left, and the third pulse pounder, twitch of the death nerve.
I hate to say this, but my girlfriend is an ingrate. She really is. She's home suffering right now with a chest cold, and she got mad when I suggested that I'd come over tonight after I got off work and help her put on some Vapor Rub. WSAI. This is Casey Piotrowski, one of America's 5,823 truly great nighttime disc jockeys. When a man loves a woman, it's a beautiful experience. But when he gets hung up on a Great Dane, WSAI, that's Percy Sledge there, the braggart, on a Casey Piotrowski show until midnight. Boy, I really love baseball. I mean, I'm really immersed in it, even though I don't play it professionally. Like the other night, I was over at my girlfriend's house, and I got thrown out trying to score.
No one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Oh, yes, they do, you snitch.
Behind closed doors.
Comes the end of the week and
WSAR. Fanny. New music. The Midwest Music Authority. You know, they asked me to be a member of the group Fanny once. I turned them down, though. I couldn't see any future in making a Fanny of myself. WSAI, Midwest Music Authority, on the Casey Piotrowski show until midnight. That's Fanny there. And speaking of Fannies, I was reading an interview with Fanny Fox, and she said that she stopped seeing Wilbur Mills because he was saying too much to the press, and he was also hitting the bottle a little bit too hard, which just goes to prove that old saying that if you drink too much and you talk too much, you're going to lose your fanny.
The Army Reserve. It's really an active part of your community.
Redneck sucker. My girlfriend has a small physical problem. It's nothing serious. She just has small, well, they're not, both of them are kind of, well, to show you what I mean, my family was going to come down for a weekend, and we were going to take them all over to Covington, Kentucky for a nice meal over there. And so my girlfriend decided she was going to look extra nice, and she put on a real tight sweater. And so we all got in my car, and as we were driving over the bridge to Covington, Kentucky, the police stopped my car and tried to arrest my girlfriend for trying to smuggle M&Ms over the state line.
You said it all. Touch me.
Ah, yes, touch me in the morning. My morning hasn't been touched in weeks. It's beginning to wilt. Wilt morning. I think I used to play basketball for San Diego. Do you know Raquel Welch has 2 kids? Really, I flew out to Hollywood recently, and I got to meet her, and I got to meet her kids too. And I was really charmed by the way her kids behaved. I mean, they were well-mannered and well-behaved and, well-groomed and polite and the whole number. And then before I left, they were gathered there together, the 2 kids and Raquel. And I looked down at the 2 kids, and then I looked up to Raquel and I said, Raquel, you got the greatest pair of tots in Southern California. WSAR, Casey Piotrowski on your radio, just another weed in the cosmic garden. Tell me why Casey Piotrowski is the cosmic king of the Queen City, or the cosmic queen of the King City, or the king queen of the cosmic city. In 25 words or less before next Thursday, could win 5 albums of your choice. WSAR, do it! Casey Piotrowski here until midnight. Let's see what's going to be happening on TV over the next couple of days. Oh, yeah, here, Gunsmoke. Next week on Gunsmoke, Miss Kitty leaves Dodge City, and Chester suddenly loses his limp. WSAI, Casey Piotrowski in your radio, reaching back 11 years for the Beatles. John, George, Ringo, and Paul McCartney. Wings from WSAI. Check! Boy, the girl I was out with last night, I think she was a little on the crazy side. She kept talking about a triple play, and she didn't mention baseball once. WSAI. That's it for me for tonight. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8, or whichever comes first. Doug Silver next in sound from the Midwest Music Authority after Mark tipped the news. Have a good evening and a good day tomorrow. Until tomorrow night at 8. Nerdist Glomp.
So that is the saga of Casey Piotrowski, who owes the quality of this tape to 3 things: the fierce determination, the dynamic creativity, and the 3 months he spent in the production studio re-recording everything till it came out right. In closing this tape, Casey would like us to leave you with a few words that have helped him weather the crashing waves of life's many storms. In your darkest moment, when your problems seem insurmountable, when the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune take aim at you, remember, life is so short that we must say what we will before it...
Well...